we are live with you in the LinkedIn Hub at Advertising Week 13 right here in Times Center. And I have with me right now Gayle Fuguitt, who I had with me last year, which was always amazing to be able to kind of see, flash forward and see what happened a year later. And she is the CEO and president of Advertising Research Foundation. So one thing we were just chatting about, which I thought was very interesting, and you said, I love that you guys are focusing on B2B and there's so much going on, and maybe it's lagging a little bit, and you guys have been doing some really interesting studies and research on that. So I want to start right off the bat with that and kind of talk about your findings or your bigger picture bird's eye view of what is going on with B2B.
Right. So our big picture bird's eye view is that while marketers are investing in maybe one or two platforms, 2/3 of marketers, B2B and B2C combined, are investing in only two platforms. Our findings suggest that up to 5 platforms, every single platform you add adds higher ROI. So it's radio, print, television, mobile, tablets, and so the insight is it's not like a lot of talk about television is dead. Television is being reinvented, but there's a kicker effect. So if you actually add digital to television, you get 1.6 times ROI.
Wow.
And what we did is we actually aggregated and said, what if every marketer just added one platform? So if you're on one platform, you add one. You have two to three to four, and we calculated out conservatively there are $31 billion in advertising spending that's being left on the table right now.
Wow. The question then that begs itself is, can every advertiser really afford? Do they have the spend to be able to add more and more platforms, or does it just mean reassigning the resources or reassigning the spend to have multiple platforms but less on each one?
Well, I mean, look, we call it like a smart spending roadmap.
Okay.
I think it's like the insight is don't get carried away. So, for example, mobile is really hot right now, right? And mobile banner ads seem to be especially popular out of all the choices of mobile platforms. Where really the insight is mobile video is where consumers are consuming the most, so that would be probably a better platform. What we've discovered is if you get carried away on mobile banner ads, and you know how many times you try to click the X?
Oh my gosh.
You don't click the X, you actually get the cookie instead of the X. You're like, okay, wait a minute. That's why we're in speak to the hand blocking, right? Consumers are basically telling us, don't get carried away. What we actually found is if you invest in more than 40 a month, so that's just like a little over one a day, your sales will go down. So
we were just talking about that. It's actually, it ends up flipping. It ends up having a reverse effect of what you're looking for.
Yes. So it's about the way you spend in combination. So think about tonight. All right, tonight is the debate and Monday Night Football, right? So if you're interested in both, then you're probably going to be watching TV and on your mobile at the same time. And what we've discovered is there's this very fascinating interaction between your mobile phone and your television in terms of a snapback effect. So if there's a sound that you hear, maybe it's a cheer because of the touchdown, or then you're going to actually snap back to your mobile from the television screen. And equally, if there's a sound on the television, it can grab your attention the other way. So there's a way for marketers to actually capture the interactive and synergy effects of these platforms working together to deliver their message and build their brand.
So in terms of the B2B element, though, because we started to talk about that, I think, so how do you think that the research that you guys are finding is affecting the B2B element of it? The businesses working together because now it is the necessary thing and the smarter thing to be able to do.
So the insights apply directly to B2B. What we find is that B2B is lagging. So about 70% of B2B consumers in a CMO survey say that they feel that digital is the most important platform for 2016, 2017, but only like between 10 and 20% actually are feeling good about how they're utilizing it. So there really is an opportunity gap in terms of utilizing it. There was a fascinating example that we had at one of our events last week, which is BMW and some work that Ed Bergerdi at KBS is doing. That is BMW's M2 and Gigi Hadid. And I don't know if you've seen this, but there is this whole interactive platform of consumers helping each other figure out how to figure out which BMW she's driving. So there's this whole conversation where actually the consumers are starting to talk to each other about how to engage with the car, and of course Gigi has this amazing following. So you can imagine that, whereas you might think if you were BMW, you just go on television, right?
Right.
And that you can't really even capture their dealers in there. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated business model in terms of B2B and B2C.
Right.
There's a way to like crack into that and actually build that more personal engagement and get fingertips from a content standpoint.
Right, that's really interesting. We'll talk about the content piece, but the first thing that comes to mind when I hear something like that is it's almost a little overwhelming. Like, how can marketers keep up? Because this is something that came out of left field, and nobody, as a marketer, we're not sitting here going, next year there's going to be this idea where, you know, this gorgeous model who's got an amazing social following, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the BMW, and then the consumers interacting, you know, peer to peer. I mean, it's crazy. So how does one keep up?
So it's what I really like about what an organization like the RF, and from my leadership from having been at General Mills for 32 years, what I've been able to bring to it is you just want to know, all right, give me like 3 steps, right? Give me what we call a smart spending roadmap, what I like to call that. Like, just tell me what to do. That's what my bosses were always saying, Gayle, like, this is all very interesting, just tell me what to do, right?
Yeah.
We've got like 5 minutes, if that, right? Short attention span. So what's really important is go back to your creative strategy, and across all these platforms you need one consistent strategy. That's a big insight because a lot of marketers today have different agencies.
Yes,
they have a digital agency and a television agency.
Yes.
So it's a consistent strategy. And then further, number 2 is customized to the platform. So how many times have you seen where somebody probably tried to run a TV ad on the mobile phone? It was too long, or you can actually literally see that there's like white on the top and the bottom of the phone, like, okay, bad idea, and they probably didn't look at it themselves when they put it on, right? The way you do as a consumer.
Right.
So those are 2 very, very important points, is to have a consistent creative strategy and then to customize it to the platform. And what we found using neuroscience is that when you have a consistent creative strategy and you customize to the platform, you get a higher ROI, and we were able to quantify that. So the scale, I want to mention the scale of the study was 5,000 campaigns over 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was $375 billion in advertising.
That's
so when we say customize, like it's quantified. It's not, these are not just like
when Gayle says customize,
ideas.
I customize. Okay, so lastly, based on everything you're saying, obviously the thing we have to talk about is the content.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's such a big deal right now. Is the content really relevant? Are we achieving that relevance to the consumer across the different platforms and across the different devices? And how, in your experience, how do we really do that?
We have a long way to go, but we have new tools. Neuroscience is an important new tool.
Of course.
Because in the past we've been measuring, I like to say head, heart, and feet. Your feet is your behavior, right? It's whether you buy something.
Right.
And that's what I spent the majority of my previous career doing.
Yeah.
But really, now we can measure the head and the heart. So we can measure that if we tell you this product has these benefits, we can tell whether it literally makes your heart beat faster.
Yeah, I remember even last year there was something that actually measured, that quantified your actual physical reaction to watching, which is amazing.
We've gone even farther with EKG. It's become more financially time and quicker. It's become more accessible to business people. So I think that's a really very, very important point, because where we know ad blocking is a huge issue
right now.
And billions and billions are exactly being blocked. And we also know that there's fraud and fraudsters and fake websites and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Really being able to get in and measure when we can make the consumer's heart beat faster is really powerful. It makes me feel really good about our opportunity to make a difference in consumers' lives. And like I really like to say, translate consumer values into brand value.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing we talked about, which is it's no longer about buy this because it's good. It will get your laundry clean. It's much more about the values that we share and about having that emotional connection with the brand, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Gayle, thank you so much. As always, it is incredibly insightful to talk to you. And it's one thing to talk to marketers about the data and the kind of matter-of-fact stuff, but it's so amazing to talk about the neuroscience of it and the research aspect of it that really helps us understand people, and that's what it's ultimately about. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And I just want to punctuate with your where do you get these ideas from? Really from the next generation, right?
Yes.
I hope at Ad Week everyone will really listen, find people in the next generation, mentor them, support them, and I want to just congratulate you on what a wonderful
so much.
tribute and example you set in the
Oh,
industry.
wow, thank you so much. We do our best, but absolutely, I think we do need to constantly be thinking about the next generation because that's where it's at. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of
Thank you.
Advertising Week. There's a lot going on, a lot of exciting stuff.
Thanks.
And we will be right back with more interviews right here in the LinkedIn Hub at Advertising Week 13.